Hey, yo, what's up guys, it's Boogie back again with a new video. Quick shout out to everyone in Brisbane. I hope you guys are all doing well with all the floods and stuff. I know personally, this is the reason why this video is going to be a lot different to what I was saying before, where I was going to do different ones. I think I'm just going to lump a lot of them, a lot of the footy games all together, give quick chat between it all, and move on to maybe do a ladder prediction and also my fantasy breakdown later on within the week. So I dealt with obviously we had power outages, we had water outages, no service, no nothing. It was crazy for a night and that, but it is what it is. I know there's so many people that are doing a lot worse than me, and to them I just want to have you in my prayers today and that, and I hope you guys are doing all well out there. So everyone stay safe and stay out of their flood waters. So the first game on Saturday, we had the Parramatta Eels versus the Panthers, and so we had the Parramatta Eels winning 36-0. So really good signs for Parramatta. The Panthers, they'll be fine. It is what it is, just one of those games, but I think this is more of a showcase of a lot of the Parramatta Eels players. Plus I got a couple of takes on a couple of the Panthers players that I think I really like coming into this year as well. So we'll have a quick breakdown and move on to the next games. But so we had 6 tries in this one. Isaiah Papali'i with 1, Sean Russell with 1, Makatoa with 2, Dylan Brown with 1, and Reid Marnie with 1 as well. All 6 of them been converted, 5 from Mitchell Moses, 1 from Jordan Rankin, who had a decent game as well. I did like the look of Jordan Rankin in these last 2 trials, so if there was any injuries within the halves pairing, you know, I feel like he could slot in pretty well. And Bryce Cartwright with a sim binning, then the halftime score was 18-0. So the top performing players, we had Reid Marnie for the Eels for most tackles, Makatoa for 158 run meters, Sean Russell 1 line break, and Dylan Brown with 62 fantasy points, who had a decent game out there. For the Panthers, we had Api Coruscant with 45 most tackles, Robert Jennings 124 run meters. He had a really nice game in this one. Taylor May 1 line break, and most fantasy points Matthew Eisenhuth. So yeah, my takeaways from the game really, it was a good showing from their stars. Obviously Reid Marnie had a really nice game. Mitchell Moses and Gutho really controlled the game with their short kicking game and set plays out back. I thought there was a standout with Makatoa. I thought he looked really strong. Another big forward that has some good footwork and some strong runs with 158 run meters. He had a decent game and 2 tries. I really like the look of him in the future. I thought Penasini had a decent game as well. Will Penasini, I thought he looked pretty strong. He's definitely one of those players this year that I'm looking into and seeing if he could become a star. I know with the last year in the final series, he looked really good coming into this year, so I'm excited to see what he has to do this year. So other big standouts for me, obviously Isaiah Papali'i played really well. He had some really nice runs and good defense, good tackles of course, and looked really aggressive in this game. Another player I liked was Oregon Kaufusi in the last 2 trials. I thought he was really good as well, so it shows that Eels got some nice depth for forwards in the lower grades as well. But with the halves pairing like Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses, the way they've been going, and even Brown playing in centre sometime as well, I think they're going to be decent this year. I don't really want to read into how the team played in like a trial game, because this could all change in the proper season. But then again, like, to see their set plays, to see how they were defending their line, I really think that they're coming into the year with a good amount of confidence, and definitely what the Eels need to be in that top 4 again and be striving for that final series. And just one more player I really want to touch on. He's a player that kind of comes in and out of consistency, but when he's on, he's actually really decent. I thought Sean Lane had a decent game. He had a nice little play there where he poked his nose through a really nice offload. I think it was a back and forth play with Junior Paulo. So moving on with the Panthers, I think the Panthers had some good showings from players like Isaac Tago. I think he played really well out there. I thought Brian To'o was a tiny bit quiet, but still like obviously delivered what he usually delivers, is nice return meters from the wing position and starting off your set. I thought Robert Jennings had a decent game. I really like the looks of Leota coming into the season. He had some really nice damaging runs. Thought Viliami was very quiet, but this is a trial game, so he's not really going to turn it on like he usually does in a trial game and force injury. I think there was a couple of times he got knocked around, so he got pulled off pretty quickly. But Matthew Eisenhuth looked really nice in this one. Really controlling lock player that had some really nice attacking plays and some he holds down defense. He will not get that 13 role. That obviously is was set to come back into that for round 1 and everything. So, but definitely it's good to see, as we've seen from the Panthers squad in the last couple of trial games and even last year with their New South Wales Cup team, they got some depth in pretty much every position, so they can fill in anywhere. Like if Robin Jennings was to drop out of the team, and they've got players like Taylor May that are coming in there, and he had some nice plays in this game as well with a nice line break and a really nice catch to cause that line break. I thought Taylor May looked really nice. Overall, it's nothing really to look into for the Panthers. They're going to be good this year no matter what, I reckon. I think this is all just pretty much a spotlight onto the Eels, saying that we are coming into the season, we're serious. Even with players like obviously Reed leaving, Isaiah Papali'i leaving, they're not really thinking about next year. They're thinking about this year. They really want to push through. So that's a really good sign. So moving on into the next game, we had the Dragons versus the Rabbitohs, and I thought this was a real competitive game. Dragons winning 16-10. Try scorers from the Dragons, we had Ramsey, Jack Bird, Ravalawa, and Fagai. With the Rabbits, we had Jackson Paulo, Cody Walker. Top performing players of this game, on the Dragons side, we had Andrew McCulloch with 32 tackles. We had Cody Ramsey with 128 meters. He looked really good in this game. We had Cody Ramsey with the most line breaks with 2. Big talking point with him. I don't know why Hook keeps putting him in fullback. He shines as a winger. I think he's keep him as a winger, and Sloan should definitely be a fullback, but we'll get more into that with a little bit more of a breakdown. And most fantasy points, Jack Bird, who I thought had a decent game in this one with 46 points. For the Rabbitohs, most tackles, Damien Cook with 35. Mark Nichols, most run meters with 95. Jackson Paulo, 1 most line break. Cody Walker with 58 fantasy points. Cody Walker had a really good one in this one. He's going to have a great year again. I think either way, with or without Adam Reynolds, he's always going to be a class player. Really reads the game really well. It really just depends on how Ilias plays next to him. So with the Dragons, as I said before, I thought Ramsey had an amazing game, and that finish, bruh, that was unreal. Like, the athleticism on the kid, he's going to be a star. With the wings position, I think just keep him as a winger. He's definitely not your fullback. I think he's definitely a winger. I thought Sloan had a really, really nice game. He had a couple of really nice touches, and whenever he touched the ball, he seemed damaging, like with his runs. He just moves so well, so he's definitely a player we're going to look into this season. Moses Sully is going to be so damaging this year. Judging off those trials, the trial period there, at center, whenever you touch the ball, man, he's like legit a second rower running at center, and defensively he's not too bad at center either. He slides really well, so he's definitely going to be a player to watch. It's crazy Manly had to let a player like him go, but they've been fulfilled with like players like Brad Parker and Morgan Harper, and obviously that new that Cooler. Sully didn't really have a spot there, but you know, for the Dragons to pick up a player like of Sully's standards, he's in for a good year this year, and I'm really excited to see what he's got for the Dragons. A couple other players I really like seeing had a really good showing. Ravalawa, he had a really good game. Amone had a really nice game. I thought Ben Hunt, Amone, and Sloan had some really nice connections. I thought definitely Ben Hunt and Sloan had some really good connections, so they're going to be good to watch this year. All their young guns coming through, the Dragons look really, really nice. There was no real bad showings from any of them, so definitely exciting years to come for them. Other players that look really nice, Jaden Hunt looked really good. I thought Michael Molo, in my last trial video, he was a standout this year, definitely a player to watch. I thought Francis Molo looked really nice in this game, a new recruit for the Dragons. Jaden Sewer looked very aggressive, very damaging in the number 12 jumper. He looked really good for the Dragons. Jack DeBellin, it's good to see if he can get another full season under his belt after all these court cases and stuff. So he's an exciting player that we'll watch later on. And I thought Blake Laurie, just a classic nut trucker. Like, he's just always going to carry it forward and everything like that. I think he's going to be a decent forward for him. Continuing on, we didn't get to see him in any of the real trials, but Jaden Sullivan, old Bud Sullivan, I think he's going to be a superstar in the future as well. But obviously when you got players like Ben Hunt, Amone, and you can't really fill him into any other spot. Like, you could put him in 9, but McCulloch's pretty much got that 9 locked down. I can't see him going anywhere else other than maybe like a 14 on the interchange. But then you got like people like Moses Mbai and that coming to the team. But he will find his way into that team sometime. So Bud Sullivan's definitely a player I'll look into. Even if he plays New South Wales Cup, definitely watch how he goes. And with the Rabbits, you know, there was some positive showings from players like Ilias with a nice 20-40. I think it was the first one I've seen in the competition or whatever. But he had a really nice kicking game to him, and that's pretty much what they want him for at the moment. He definitely started off some set plays really well with Cody Walker. Cody Walker is definitely a dominant, so definitely watch out for him this year. But Ilias, if he could just play that spot the way he did in this game and maybe improve in a couple of defensive settings, they're in for a decent year again. I thought Kaloa Matangi played really, really nice in this one, had some really damaging runs. I think he's in for a big year, maybe getting into that like Blues reserve squad. Who knows, but I think he's in for another really big year. I really like the showings from him. And obviously, you know, your classic standouts like Damien Cook, he didn't have the most amazing game, but whenever he did start out from dummy half or he had a little play there where he was just stepping everyone, he's going to be in for a good year this year. So moving on to the next game, we had the Broncos versus Cowboys, and the Cowboys with a real positive showing in this one with 26-6 winners of this game. Try scorers for the Cowboys was Tabuai Fidau, Valentine Holmes, Tuolangi with 2 tries in this one, and he looked really, really nice coming into this game. And all 4 tries were converted, so Valentine Holmes with 3 and Scott Drinkwater with 1, with 1 added penalty goal. Jordan Reiki with the solo try for the Broncos was a nice one at that, but, you know, solo try. And Tony Staggs with converting that one. Top performing players for the Broncos, we had Jordan Reiki with 37 tackles. We had Corey Oates with 149 run meters. We had Jordan Pereira with 1 line break, and Kobe Hetherington, who I thought had a really good showing in this one for 47 fantasy points. I definitely found a way to fit him into my fantasy team this year. And for the Cowboys, we had Ruben Cotter with 35 tackles, real defensive standout for the Cowboys. I really like the look of him into this year. Murray Tuolangi with 196 run meters, and he had a really, really nice game in this one. Valentine Holmes with 1 line break, and Tuolangi with 59 fantasy points. So standouts in this game, I think in a losing team like the Broncos, a couple of takes I had was Selwyn Cobbo looked really nice. I thought he looked really damaging at fullback. They need to keep him at fullback, I reckon. You know, he's a big body, runs it really hard, but every touch he had, he kind of had a bit of spark to him. I thought Cobbo's connection with Katoni Staggs was really good as well. I think they're in for a good year together. It's really whether that halves pairing can figure itself out. Like, obviously, if Billy Walters is, from all I'm hearing, he's going to be the 6'2" Adam Reynolds, whether they can control the pack the way they can and consistently defend. Other than that, I think, you know, Paddy Garrigan had a really nice game. I thought Payne Haas had a decent game. Catewell wasn't amazing in this one, but, you know, consistently he will be there coming into the season. And I thought Reiki and Hetherington were really, really good showings in this one. But even bigger points here, I think the Cowboys showings, you know, they had people like Fidel who look really, really nice at that fullback position. He's so fast, that damaging. I thought Valentine Holmes wasn't too bad at centre. I thought, obviously, Tuolangi, he played really, really well for me. Tommy Dearden and Townsend didn't look too bad together. I thought Dearden really took this game to show the Broncos what, you know, he could have been. Like, I think that he had a bit more of a coming into this game, he wanted to just prove something. I don't know if he consistently can be like that during the season. I think that's the whole thing with both of these teams is consistency. But I think he's in for a decent year if he is going to get that 6th spot. But my number 1 6th spot, I reckon, is got to be Scott Drinkwater. I think he just has a bit more to show, a bit more fancier of a player, if you will. But I think he... energy-wise, he brings a lot more energy than Dearden, but Dearden had a really good game in this one, and defensively he was really nice as well, tackling on the ball and that. I thought Chad Townsend really took up that leadership role really well. I think he's going to be good for the Cowboys. It's really just we'll have to wait to the season to tell. I know a lot about Tanoa Brown. I'm pretty disappointed we lost out on him to the Cowboys, but he's a really decent, consistent player that I think the Cowboys are going to like this year. I think Lukey's really nice. I think Cotter looks really good. I thought Brendan Elliott had a decent game in this one as well. So there's some good players to look out for, but I think this was mainly the young guns of like Fidel and Tuolangi that played really, really nicely, and I'm really excited to see what they got this season. And moving on to the last game I'm going to cover this week, and maybe cover in the next 2 games for the Monday games later on. But we had the Storm versus the Knights, and the Storm getting up 24-10 in this one. Obviously, the Storm still soldiering on the way they do. Try scorers for the Storm, we had George Jennings, Wishard, Kafusi, and Nikorima. All 4 tries were converted, and the halftime score was 6-4. And for the Knights, they had Braden Best and Clifford, who had a really nice showing in this one. Only one of those tries converted. So top performing players, we had Felice Kafusi from the Storm with the most tackles, 29. We had Justin Olam, 146 run meters. We had Aramira with 2 line breaks. He looked really nice as well. And Felice Kafusi getting in most fantasy points for the Storm with 48. And for the Knights, we had Chris Randall with 37. I think he's actually a decent pickup for you in fantasy for that other hooking role. With 37, he's going to start that year with injuries to Brayley. He's going to have to fill in a big role there for the Knights, and I think he will. Defensively, he looked good, and his service from dummy half looked pretty nice as well. Most run meters, you had David Clemmer with 129. Most line breaks, Anali Tuala with 1. I think I really like Tuala. I've liked him from the first couple of years I've seen him play. I think he just needs a little bit more time to shine than that, but I think he's in for a good year this year. And most fantasy points, we got Jake Clifford, who for me was the big standout for the Knights in this game. So for the Storm, my big standouts were Wishard actually looked really, really good in that hooker position. Whether he can get a spot maybe in that 14 role, if they're solely going to put Brendan Smith in that number 13 spot all year. And then obviously they're going to have Harry Grant as their starting 9, whatever. But to start the season, he'll probably be a starting 9. And they just keep finding these players that just keep standing up. Another good player, Nick Meaney, as I said in that last trial game, I think he's going to be one of those players that's a Mr. Fix-It. He's going to fill into any spot that has any injuries, and he's going to perform really well. I thought he consistently performed really well in both trials this year, and I think he's in for a big season. I think Justin Olam looked amazing. I thought just attacking-wise, he was just breaking tackles left, right, and centre. He had Dane Gagai going in and out a couple of times in this game, and to have a player of like Gagai's standard, like turn inside out the way he did was a big showing. And defensively, he's one of the best defensive centers in the league. So, and attack wise, obviously one of the best as well. So he's definitely in for another big year. I'm excited to see what he has to bring. I thought players like Munster, I thought Munster looked really good coming into this year as well. He looked really fit, really damaging. He's back to that ways of just poking his nose through everywhere and dipping and darting and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited to see what he's got this season. I thought other players that looked really nice. Bronson Garlick, I thought he looked pretty decent. Probably a player to watch out for in some of their reserve grade spots. I thought another player in these last 2 trials looked really nice was Alec McDonald, another one of those Storm players that consistently puts in big efforts defensively and always just there to truck the ball up. I think he's in for some big years ahead of him. If there's anyone that falls out of the spot, he's definitely a player that could fill in a spot there. And for the Knights, I think their biggest standout for me, honestly, was Jake Clifford. I thought he played really, really well in this game. He really needs to take the halves pairing by the balls in this one. Whether he's the 6 or the 7, I think he needs to be the dominant half. His kicking game was really nice. I thought his running game was really nice. I think he's in for a big year. I thought Dane Gagai had some really nice touches in this one. He had one to get back on friggin' Justin Olam. He turned him inside and out as well. So it was a good battle between the centers in this one. So I was really excited to see how both of these boys are going to perform in the actual season. Clune doesn't look too bad to be in that 7 spot. In the last trial game, which I didn't really get to cover in a video, I did get to watch the game, but he showed some speed, like, you know, defensively to chase down a couple of players the way he did, and he showed a lot of effort. So definitely a good pickup from the Dragons to pair up with Clifford there. I think he's going to be a good little player to have there. I don't really see them losing out too much. Obviously, well, they did lose out a lot with Pierce leaving and that, but I think it could have been a hell of a lot worse. And with a player like Clune, I think Clune's not too bad to have in that position. And the other player I really want to talk about is Kurt Mann. I think he's good in that 13 role. I think I would keep him there. Good runner, good passer, and really fills in any spots that anyone's missing in this team. So I'm excited to see what the season brings for him. So overall, with the trials that I've seen, there's a lot of like really nice up and coming juniors coming through. Definitely like players that the the Redcliffe Dolphins could be looking at and could be chasing as well. I know they got a nose in the market at the moment, so I think the league's in good stead. Like we got a lot of big juniors coming through that are looking amazing, and a lot of these big squads are getting better, but there's also these squads that were in the bottom 8 that do look a lot better coming into this year. As I was saying, you know, we got the Sharks and Bulldogs today, and we got the Warriors and Titans today. So I'm excited to see those hitouts. I might or might not get a video out on these ones. I think overall with the Bulldogs takes I've got, I think they're going to look really nice. I'm still up in the air whether they can make the 8 or not. I think they're going to be good this year. They're going to be a lot better than what they were last year, but it's one of those teams you just got to see it to believe it, sort of thing. You can't really make judgment of like the team they got on paper, because yeah, I thought they would look a lot better last season than the season before that, but you know, I think it's just a wait and go. They've got a lot of key positions filled, so I'm excited to see how they run out this year. So yeah, overall guys, I really appreciate you guys coming through again. I am so sorry with the way these videos are being done, and that I couldn't really help, obviously, with power outages, all that sort of stuff. I was trying to get a video on Saturday, a video on Sunday, and then obviously do Monday's ones, and then do a couple of others. But you know, we ride the wave, guys, and you know, I'm just going to be creating as much as I can, and you know, the next couple of videos you'll be looking out for is definitely a ladder prediction, which I'm really excited to do, and obviously my updated team of my fantasy, and a couple of talking points going into that one. So I'm excited for this year. Hope you guys are excited too. We're coming in so close into the first start of the season. I'm so excited. Obviously I'm back off COVID. Hopefully Thursday I'm back in, you know, obviously I'm back at work, back doing all my normal stuff. I can get back to gym, I can get back to all that, so I'm excited for that this week. And yeah, there's a big year to come, guys. I hope you guys really enjoy. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, peace out.